these days. Let me say this, and I've been saying this since I first started talking about narcissism back in 2015. I already felt like it was going to become this buzzword. There are times where a man is a narcissist. Don't get me wrong. But then there are a lot of men running around out here, and they ain't narcissists. They're just emotionally immature. And so they can still have some level of damage on you if you continue to engage with them beyond where they should be. But not everybody's a narcissist. There are a lot of guys out here who look like, talk like, it's just very similar, but they're just emotionally immature. And what I mean by an emotionally immature man is a man who's basically not a man. And I'm gonna get canceled off this again, but I don't care. We're supposed to be men. We're supposed to be in tune with our emotions. We're supposed to go to therapy. We're supposed to cry sometimes. We're supposed to do all of the emotional stuff. But also as men, we're supposed to be able to manage our emotions. It's like as women, we always say, y'all are the nurturers. Y'all are supposed to nurture. Y'all are supposed to do this, that, and the other on an emotional end to nurture, nurture, nurture. But we don't have any more standards on men anymore. It's like, yes, not beyond providing and protecting, as men on an emotional level, we're supposed to be able to manage our emotions, be more black and white, be more functional. And that doesn't mean that we ignore our emotional state. In fact, we do the exact opposite. We get to know what's going on with us emotionally so that we can handle our business. And too many times you guys are running across men who are emotionally underdeveloped, and we live in this world that wants to coddle men, and now it's coddling men at the expense of women who can't even be women in the relationship. You can't even just feel like you got a man in a relationship. You constantly are outside of your own feminine energy because you're dealing with a man who doesn't even know what his masculine energy is. So again, sometimes it's not that you're dealing with a narc. I was talking about this with one of my self-crowned VIP members recently. It was like quick to say, no, he does this, he explodes, he does da 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 da. And before we go there, I just say, hold on, maybe he's just emotionally underdeveloped, emotionally immature. Like one sign the man that you're dealing with is emotionally immature is if he's still codependent on his mom, if he's a mama's boy. And let's not go blaming the mamas, because everybody like to go point fingers, oh, yeah, these single mothers, mom. No. I've never seen a mama's boy who had a strong father figure in the home. I've never seen it in my life. So if we're gonna blame anybody, we gotta blame both the parents. But there are a lot of parental units who are creating coddled little boys that grow up into grown boys because the father is not there, or he has no masculine frame. And then the mother overcompensates as a parent. She's afraid to mess up, so she ends up creating this soft young man who never has to do anything or stand on his own too in terms of his mental and emotional state. And so therefore he depends on her to be okay his entire adulthood. And or she forms a very unhealthy dynamic with him where she doesn't want to repeat the same abandonment feeling whenever he grows up and becomes a man and can no longer relate to her, so she stunts his growth. And so this is why you have a lot of men who don't seem like men. My mama says she don't like you. My mama did it. You don't do this like my mama. And I'm not blaming the mamas, even though they play their part, no doubt about it. I'm just saying, as a man, at a certain point, you get to an age where it's on you. Yeah, you might be behind the 8 ball at age 12, 13, 14. You're not necessarily cutting grass and, fixing cars and fitting in with the other guys. But at age 30, 35, 40, you still a mama's boy? There's a level of being unhealed and trauma and all that kind of stuff. That all goes into the maturation process because we all have been through something on some level. But if that man at age 40 still holding you to the standard of his mama, can't make a decision without his mama, can't check his mama, can't set no boundaries with her, that man is emotionally immature. Another sign that the man that you're dealing with is emotionally immature is if he expects you to be his peace, be his happiness. Put I down in the chat if you've heard this said on the internet, be my peace. Now, as a woman, you are supposed to be peaceful. You can only do that if you create peace within yourself, because it goes both ways, that we can't create each other's peace. But you are supposed to be peaceful. You are supposed to contribute to that man's happiness. Otherwise, why are you there? Why are we here for each other? But if that man comes home stressed from work and there's nothing between that stress that he got from work and then you and what you're supposed to do, that man is emotionally immature. If he blames you and criticizes you for not fixing him on a daily basis, whatever his mental and emotional state is, stabilizing him, fixing him, making him smile whenever he's not happy. If he holds you to that standard, he's emotionally immature. He's holding you responsible for something he's supposed to be equipped to do for himself. And then you only supposed to come in and protect that, facilitate that, maybe accelerate that, but not create that for him. Another sign that the man that you're dealing with is emotionally immature is if you notice he can't comprehend or stay present in any conversation beyond the part that triggered him. If you notice that he cannot continue a conversation, he cannot repeat back what you said to him in his own words beyond the part that triggered him, pissed him off, frustrated him, where he felt attacked. I'm gonna give y'all an example. Y'all ever sent a long message to a dude and he responded to one part of it? Now, of course, this could be a guy who honestly just don't take you serious. He playing in your face. But a lot of times you're dealing with a guy who is emotionally immature. There was one part of that whole situation, that whole sentence that triggered him. And it probably ain't even a sentence itself. It's probably what he interpreted and how he twisted around that particular sentence. And that's the only thing that he responds to. And then he played dumb. What do you mean by this? You done sent them 4 pages of context. Put I down in the chat if I'm talking to anybody. And then you sitting here frustrating yourself, exhausting yourself, going and running in circles, trying to explain, no, what I'm saying is, and you feel like you a professor in human behavior psychology just to be functionally in a relationship to get to the end of what you originally was saying. And by the time you get to it, you're tired. You're tired. You don't even want to stand for what you was talking about now. You're tired. Because you're dealing with an emotionally immature man. He is unequally yoked with you. He is not on your level. Another sign that the man that you're dealing with is emotionally immature is if he's always ready to cut up. He always ready to yell, to fight, to cry, shut down at the first sign of discomfort. You got guys that are coming around here saying, well, I'm one of the woke men. I'm in touch with my emotions. I'm sensitive. Look, we all feel sensitive. We all kind of sensitive. You can suppress, you got different levels of that, but we all feel stuff. If that man cannot control his impulsivity to where when he feels something, it's an immediate expression of what he feels instead of him feeling something and discerning whether or not that expression is appropriate for the situation, or whether or not he needs to just continue functioning, or whether he just needs to communicate what he's feeling in order to make progress, that man is emotionally immature. He ready to cut up. Oh, they tried me. He ready to fight. No, he ain't no bad boy. He ain't no gangster. He's an emotional child. Adolescent at best. He always losing jobs, slapping people. Or when you talk to him, he crying. No. Ain't no Drake. He's a little bit more softer and more in touch with his feminine. That's not femininity anymore. That's broken masculinity. That's what he's in touch with. That's what needs to have work. You deal with a guy like that, he just ready to pop off. It's whatever. He ain't tough. He's the opposite of tough. So, instead of being strong enough, and again, this is why I'm not a fan of us suppressing our emotions, ignoring our emotions. As men, we have emotions, and we should. But if you truly face those as you become a man, or maybe you're a little bit late and that's fine. If you truly face those and you go find a therapist instead of always trying to find a woman, you learn how to manage those emotions. And you learn how to rein them in and be in control of your emotions. We all lose control. Sometimes we're human. But it should never be a thing where your emotions are constantly in the driver's seat. Because as a woman, how do you follow a man who's following his emotions? How do you feel safe following a man who's following his emotions? You don't. One more way to know if that man is emotionally immature is if he matches your energy in times where you get emotionally heightened. You see, again, we understand that women are emotionally inclined more so than men. We understand that as women, you're more intuitive. That's your feminine energy. It's beautiful. You're intuitive. You feel things. You can sense things. You can spot when we got fake friends. You can feel a person's energy. You're more in touch with that side of you. That's great. But it's supposed to complement us, not mirror us. So whenever you get into it with your man, any type of disagreement or conflict, or maybe it ain't got nothing to do with your man. Maybe you're just in a certain space from the day that you had. And you know that whenever you come home to your man or you got some kind of issue, you can't even express that or be that or reflect what you got going on internally because your man is going to match you right where you're at. And then both of y'all going to be messed up by the end of it. Both of y'all, you get to yelling, he get to yelling. You get to getting passive aggressive, he get the passive aggressive. There's no balance whatsoever. Now, even as a feminine woman, yes, you're supposed to have some level of emotional agency yourself, but that standard is higher on men who naturally have more testosterone and all these other. We built different, and that's okay. We equal in value. We're not synonymous in our role in the relationship. So if you got a man, the moment you start yelling, he gonna yell with you. He gonna yell with you. That man is emotionally immature. That man, and when in times where first off, you shouldn't be yelling at no man. I'm not giving y'all no pass for that. You shouldn't be disrespecting no man on no regular basis. But should that exceptional level of emotional inclination in you as a woman, should that get to overwhelm you in any situation, you should be able to rely on your man to be that rock, to be that stability emotionally. It's like if somebody come kick down your door 3 o'clock in the morning, they trying to rob me, you get to screaming. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a woman. You in your feelings, you in your fear, you feel it. But imagine you in that situation and your man pop up and he get to screaming with you. You go, ah! He go, ah! You look at him like, what? That's my role. Hold on, wait. I'm supposed to be the one emotionally all over the place and ah! Like, he go, ah! You're not dealing with an emotionally mature man. A truly masculine man is what I'm talking about here. And it's impossible to be truly masculine as a man if you're emotionally immature. Now, why is this important? Is it just about bashing men or anything like? No. In fact, if anything, I'm hoping I'm separating the men from the boys and calling the boys to a higher standard. But what happens when you deal with an emotionally immature man, like I just said, he's not going to be operating in his masculine energy. That's going to prevent you from operating in your true feminine energy. If you're a feminine woman, some of y'all ain't, by all means, keep on not shaving your armpits and doing whatever the hell y'all do. I'm talking to the feminine women out here. The whole balance is off. The whole dynamic is off. You can never fully feel relaxed in that relationship. And if you've ever been with a man, you know he wasn't a bad guy. He's not a bad dude. We all got flaws. But you never felt like the best of you was getting pulled out in that relationship. You never really felt like you were safe in that relationship. You never felt like you were complimented. Like, man, in my weaknesses, He's got the strengths and we balance off of each other. You never felt like that. Like this is a teamwork dynamic. Like, where I'm weak, he good. You never really felt at home in that relationship on an emotional and mental level. And in fact, you felt off kilter. Even as you tried to be your feminine self and try to support him emotionally and be nurturing, it just felt out of place in that relationship. That's what I'm talking about. That's what happens when you're dealing with an emotionally immature man. And this is why I don't make the distinguishment between a good and bad man. I always tell y'all, it's not about if he's good or not. There are a lot of great guys out here that don't make great relationship partners because they're not evolved. They're not evolved in their thinking. They're not evolved in their capacity to take what they think and put it into action form on a regular basis. They're not evolved in their value system. They're not evolved in their health, and they're not evolved in their emotional maturity. You have to, as a woman, again, some of y'all can't relate, but as a woman who is working on herself and has worked on herself for years, if that's you, you've been trying to put yourself first more and trying to level up and address your bad habits, develop new good ones, and manage who has access to you. You ain't for everybody. You are for an evolved man who has also done the work. Now, the thing that I've seen is a lot of y'all don't know how to position yourselves for that evolved man. Something I just taught in my free masterclass, Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. Over an hour, I dropped gems, the strategies on how to attract truly evolved men. Now, if you want access to that masterclass before it comes down, click the link that you see pinned right here down in the comments. Click that link, get access to Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. If you're that type of woman who has done the work on herself and you're coming across guys who have not, you always feel like you're having to pull them up and teach them and raise them and finish their mama's job. Click that link to get access. Register now. The masterclass is free, by the way, but it's coming down soon. But back to what I was saying. There are some guys out here who are malicious. Absolutely. I have no problem calling my brothers out. There are some guys out here who are selfish, egotistical, narcissistic, and all of those things. But y'all, more than ever before, we're dealing with a generation of men who are just emotionally immature. We're trying to find that space where we get emotionally mature. We're trying to have the conversations in the safe spaces as men and all that kind of stuff. But we've overcorrected, and now we just got emotionally underdeveloped men. And we got to get back to being men if y'all are ever going to feel comfortable being the best version of yourselves that you can be in a relationship. But it's just your internet brother, Derrick Jaxn here, trying to look out for you. If you got anything from this, share this right now on your timeline for somebody else that you can bless with this message. Don't be selfish. And get access to Secrets to Making Evolved Men Crave You. That's my free masterclass where I teach you the strategies to stick out and attract multiple evolved men so you can choose the one that's right for you. Again, that's at the link pinned right here in the comments, also in the caption / description whenever you back out. Holla at y'all later. Y'all be good. Peace.